before the fight, I'm freaking out. Why am I even doing this? Why do I even? Man, I'm panicked. But I've learned that when that fear, that thought comes in, I'm gonna speak out. No, I love this. There's no place I'd rather be. And I got in my mind, I'm thinking, you're petrified. It's like you're going into war. You're preparing yourself for war. You have to prepare your mind for that. And I think that at the highest level, the higher you go, the more you have to disappear into that. The more you have to go in, and that's a hard place to be and live. Struggle is what makes us grow. Those losses, man, if you can stand up and make life in it, you're gonna come back strong.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Haitian Kings Podcast. Today, we got somebody with us that if you see him fighting with a bear, I will feel sorry for that bear. I saw on everything I love. And this man is a karate black belt, MMA fighter. I mean, this dude can beat anybody.
He got his own gym and lecture. We got to make sure we touch up on that. He got his own gym and lectures. Like for people that want to get like self-defense classes, if you're like an MMA fan, that's the man you need to go see. And later on in this episode, we're going to let people know how to get in touch with them if they're interested in anything like that.
And then welcome our guest, Josh. I can never really good
Quayhagen.
Quayhagen,
yeah.
Josh Quayhagen. Welcome to the show, bro.
It's good to see y'all, man. Good to be here. This is
hey, man,
I'm excited.
I'm so excited about this shit. Man. I'm about to shower with questions.
Too, yeah.
but let's start with this. What really got you into MMA?
So I grew up in karate. So I did karate when I was a kid. My dad's a black belt. Both my grandparents did karate, and that was my first sport karate. Going around to tournaments. I remember driving around with my pops all around Louisiana, just going to tournaments, learning, and just kind of fall in love with competing. So that's where it started. Later on, kind of pushed forward. I fell in love with football. Played it through high school. Came to McNeese to play football. Played here. Won a couple conference championships. After I graduated, kind of was in that what I do now mode. You know, just I guess be a grown up, go to work, pay some bills, and then after about 3 months of that, I was like, nah, this can't be it. So I was like, there was I remember being at a bar and seeing So You Think You're Tough on a sign, and there was like one of those tough man competitions, just sign up for an MMA match back in, 2009 maybe. So I was like, sign me up. I called him right there from the bar and said, sign me up, I want to fight. So I ended up fighting. I did pretty good my first couple ones. Like I said, I was a pretty good athlete. Had some striking skills. And then I ran into my first wrestler, and he popped my cherry, so to speak. But he took me down and just wore me out, beat me up. And I just remember having that kind of, that moment where it was like, man, do I want to deal with this? Do I want to do this? This can be harder than I think. I'm not going to be able to coast to it. I'm not going to be able to. And then just sitting there, maybe even for a moment, saying nah, but that just eating on me and just be like, nah, I'm in. And so I started looking and trying to find places around Lake Charles. I live in Lake Charles, so trying to find a place around here that would do it, that had striking and grappling. I would go to the grappling place and I would say, hey, man, I'll teach you to strike. You teach me to grapple. Like, nah, we don't want MMA here. You know, MMA was taboo, really, it seemed like around. So nobody go to the boxing place, but nobody knew grappling. So it'd be easy to kind of kick the boxers and, think you get. So, man, after a while, I just kind of decided I was either going to have to start my own gym or move away, train somewhere else. So I chose to start my own gym, which, looking back, I love that I did it, but it was a hard road. But
like, touch up on your own gym real quick and say, like, what kind of services you offer.
So so it's called PE Training Center, Common Street, South Common Street. We got kids martial arts, adult martial arts. We got Muay Thai, MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, karate, all for all ages. We also have fitness. Really, to be honest, man, I was thinking about it on the way in. Really, the product that I sell is struggle. So that's what I feel like I was thinking about it today. I think as a culture, we've lost the idea, the value of hard work. It's almost kind of like, oh, it's going to be a hard working day instead of, man, I worked hard today, And so come in, and to be honest, I put people through struggle together,
Yeah.
And so, man, there's something beautiful in that. Even in the word, they call me the preacher in the fight game. But even in the word, it says you're supposed to rejoice in the suffering, rejoice in the struggle. I think that's something that we miss today. We don't seek out the struggle. We seek out the easy button, But in that struggle, that's what produces the endurance, the perseverance, the character. That's where you're going to grow. That's where you're going to. So I've created a community of people that come together and almost redefine that. Like, man, let's struggle together. Let's get ugly together. And there's something beautiful in that when you do that with people. Misery loves company.
And also, do you offer like one-on-one training? Let's just say they got like somebody that take it extremely seriously. It's like, man, I want you to come to my house or whatever. Okay.
I do. It's expensive, I would say, so it'd be but that's kind of even, so we have fitness in there. So, and so everything is designed for you. So even if you want to do the personal training, you, of course, reach out. I'd love to do that. But even just coming to the classes, you're going to get that one-on-one attention. You came to the class. We talked about that. We want to be there for everybody. Even the guy you was working with, Vadim came to a kickboxing class, and he's talking about the guy he worked with was showing him stuff. And just another beginner, but it's kind of that atmosphere. Everybody wants to help everybody get better. Everyone wants to learn. So you're going to get that feel, that community, and you're going to get that good training, that what I would call world championship training right here without the personal training costs. So that's the idea.
I mean, like, I had a chance because I feel like, after I talked to you the first time, and like, because karate has always been like, since I was a kid, man, that's, watching like Bruce Lee, watching like Jet Li, Jackie Chan and all of these people. I remember I used to hold, like, put on this thing in the ceiling, trying to kick it and stuff like that. So I was like a kid in the candy store when you showed me that. And then I had a chance to go back and I had the chance to, actually see you in action and actually had a chance to do it. And it was like one of the best experience, like you take the time, Josh really take the time, like he will watch what I'm doing. If I feel like I'm doing it right, he comes like, hey, this is go for this one, go for that one. And like you said, the sense of community over there. And even the other guy was like, even though we never see how many times he goes or I go, but he'd be like, go again. I'm just like, go again. Like, it's okay. Like, even like when I felt like, because you don't have that muscle memory yet. Right. And you started doing it's a combo, you're like, you forgot you. And I'm kind of holding myself like, And he's like, yeah, that's okay, man. And that, like, you know what I mean?
I love that. I love to hear it. To be honest, it's hard to go into a gym at all, let alone an MMA gym where you're going to do, man, it's hard to get in the door. People have the thought, man, I want to do that. I got to do that. And then, man, some people go pull up in a parking lot, like, nah, but I want people to feel welcome. It's not what you think, man. There is uncomfortable there, but man, it's a whole lot more comfortable too. Getting in that building, that community. It's the pathway to the better you. I believe that. I know that, and you'll feel that in that community. And I'm not saying our place is alone. Man, I think martial arts schools all over the country and there's a lot in Lake Charles too. You can go to a lot of them, man. And I really do think that you're gonna find what you're looking for a lot of times.
Like, do you think like people going through this type of training is somewhat therapeutic?
I can't imagine it not being. I know I can only speak for myself in terms of this, but I can't tell you how many. So I saw a meme the other day, maybe Facebook or something, but it said it's a picture of Jesus pointing at you, and it's like, Jesus, give me a thumbs up when I want to punch somebody in the face, and I decide to go to the gym and work out instead. So I know man, what you got that energy, and we want to spend it, man. I believe, especially a lot of us men too, we're warriors, we're gladiators. There's something in us, and a lot of times when we don't use that energy for something productive, we're going to use it for something negative, whether we're searching for something, grabbing for something, or pouring it out in a different way. You need to vent that anger. Like I say, you need to be uncomfortable, because the world's going to be uncomfortable.
Right,
and then when it does, it's going to break you unless, it's like Tuesday and Wednesday. I pay monthly membership for more struggle than the world's throwing me today. It's something about that when you show up and you walk in the door when you don't feel like it. It's going to be ugly, but you walk in the door anyway. Man, that's you show up, man. That's what we're creating, that resilience. That's
but also, do you want to tell people the website or the social media page or how to get access to it, where somebody actually currently watching this right now and they can be like, okay, all that shit sound interesting. How do I get in touch with that?
Cool. Yeah, appreciate it. PE Training Center is the name of it. So PE, like your old school, like we used to have in high school. I don't know if they still have
Look
that.
at this camera right here.
PE, there it is. PE Training Center .com is the website. You can search PE Training Center on Facebook, Instagram too. Check us out. You can try any class out for free. There, you can go online, Mind Body app. You can see it all, or even on our website. Fill out the waiver, or you can just come in, sign a waiver, try out a class, see what you think, and then we'll talk from there. Because I know it's uncomfortable, you know. But come in. I said the hardest rep is always just walking through that door. But after that, you're always gonna walk out happy. But you gotta walk in.
I mean, I know that experience for a fact. Yeah, you're gonna come out happy because I know it's hard work. It's gonna be like you say, it's gonna be a struggle. But at the end of the day, if this is what you really want, this is the thing for you. Like I imagine you can still go to the gym, but like having get over there, just like learning like a combo. You know what I'm saying? Like even though like after I come out, man, I was looking for bears around the house, but I mean I feel like I can fight anybody at any time. Even though I can probably get my ass kicked, but just the energy, you know.
Confidence
and
is key,
yeah, I
man,
know
you
what
know
I'm saying.
what I'm
It's just the
saying? Walk around
every hours in there, but
I
I'm
need to get
telling
on there
you.
for sure. I need to get because I'm very busy and I'm trying to think like as far as for the time. But the fact that I'm such a huge MMA fan, even if it's some shit I get to experience once a fucking month, I'm good with it.
But yeah, and I would say that it's going to be so. I mean, really, you go to the gym, you can work out, and you can burn some calories, you can build some muscle. If you don't do nothing for 2 weeks, it's going to go away.
Yeah.
But you come learn to throw a jab, it's with you for life. You know, you're learning knowledge too. Don't get me wrong, you got to get in your reps, you got to put in your practice, you got to do it the right way. But you're growing in knowledge and in self-defense if you need to. But there's something different about martial arts, the progression towards something even more and more and building rather than just working out. I find that it's almost like you said therapeutic, but it's also something that's like don't matter if I take 2 weeks off, I still got that. I could work that in my room, and maybe I can't do squats with weights on my back in my room, but you'll always be getting better at martial arts.
I got a question for you. So knowing you, I see you in the gym, how you move. I know you can fight. Like you know you a bad dude. So do you like when you go out and you in the club and something like that, do you ever feel like, man, I can fight? How you control that, knowing that you know how to fight, but to have the best control?
It's not even the club. Let's just say if you get triggered, wherever, to where you feel like somebody just walk up to you and disrespect you when it wasn't needed. And you just know you can just teach them a lesson they'll never forget for the rest of their life. How do you just restrain that?
We were talking earlier, and I would say that probably I hope everybody can learn from wisdom. That's learning from other people's mistakes. So I've made the mistake. I didn't learn from wisdom. I'm now what I call smart. You know, if you learn, you're smart.
Yeah.
But wisdom, you can learn from other people's. But I made the mistake that if I got triggered, if I got disrespected, and I always have felt like I'm a peaceful person. I would even say I've always been like, you can't get me in a fight. I would always say that. But maybe drinking, especially being younger, a lot of pride coming in, and people disrespecting me or a friend, or that would happen. And I would just say that it's never led to a good outcome. And so I've done the research, you know. And
Where you won the fight and lost the war type of thing.
I mean, exactly. I've won many fights, and I can't tell you the bills that come from it, the bells, the parents crying, you know, like just the heartache, the people hurt, you know. Even, man, now looking back, man, it was just the things that even right off the bat, that instant, man, I think that's what we're trying to learn to do is tame the flesh, you know, that our rage, that anger, that fear, whatever it is that pops up, we got to learn to calm that. We know what to do. If we sat down and we thought, we know what to do. We know the right move. We know to keep calm. We know not to just react and respond. We learned that as kids. But I believe that our whole path is just kind of constantly relearning it and making sure we're learning it. So at this point, now I do try to be more empathetic. I try to think as much as I can. People, of course, you know, trigger me, I guess is the word. But I want to try to counterpunch that with maybe a little prayer. That's what God say, pray for my enemies. So right there, it's about to be enemy. Wait, God, give me peace. Give them safety. So maybe give them...
But is that something you teach your students, people that
Absolutely.
come in?
Well, to be honest, especially our kids' classes, man, it's all about character a lot more. It really has evolved. When I was a kid, like I said, I competed all the time. And our karate class was competition driven. Hey, what's going to win? What's going to do better? We were very... And now I have some competition classes, kids, and they come in and they train and they're training different. But for the most part, I wanna help create better people. I want them to understand, hey, eyes up, look somebody in the eye when you're talking to them, speak up, be kind, be respectful to adults, learn to be quiet, man. Kids just need to learn, hey, you can be quiet, you can respond and think and listen, with that. So we play lots of games like that about character building and integrity building, hard work. I get them tired in every class. Just because, and I tell them every time, hey, you're getting tired because I want to see if you can breathe. I want to see if you can not panic, not quit. You can breathe deep, stand up tall, and keep going. Push through it. Hey, you're stronger than you think. Just a little bit of glimpse of that reality of the true character in us. I think when we hit the easy button, we being comfortable, we playing video games all day, we don't get a glimpse of who we are, who we get to be. I get a little tired, I'm going to go sit down and watch it. Nah, get a little tired, keep going, breathe a little bit, pick up your head, poke that chest out. You all right? But we don't
That's what I
learn
love
that.
about Josh, man. I swear, I'm telling you, man. He just, even though, like, when he's, like, working out with him, it's just, like, the way he speaks to you. Like, even though you're tired, you want to, like, drop to the ground.
I got to stop.
And it's just like,
and
he got that low, because I'm very competitive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When somebody said, give me that low, like, what you going to do? You going to quit? Or what? Now he's just like, now you piss me off. Like, in my head,
You gotta tell me
oh, what the, like,
Man,
I want
I'm
to go.
gonna stop by
like,
like hearing all this. Trust me, I am extremely busy.
Yeah, I know.
But at the same time, it's kind of I'll find time because I'm a huge MMA fan, and he went there from what he's saying, from what you're saying. I'm like, I gotta find time to make it there.
I'll say this, man. I wrote an article for one of the Lanyap local things, but it was just like the three top reasons not to work out. One, was I don't got enough time. And I can't remember the stats now. It was about 5-10 years ago. But it was something along the time. If you work out, kind of what we call HIIT training. You really raise your heart rate quite a bit. Once, twice. Maybe you just sprint once a week. But you're going to we can get to that sprint heart rate at our house, at our place. But if you do that, you're going to add something like 7 years to your life. So if you're thinking about adding 7 years to your life, if you're missing, do you really got time not to work out? Do you not? I know you do your workout, but I'm saying, do you got time to not show up, to start improving yourself, to start venting that energy, start getting rid of that stress? That was kind of the base there. I'm not trying to pressure
But
you.
I get that. But I work out. I do work out. I
Yeah.
work out like 3 to 5 times a week. Like on my most busiest week, I work out and I try to run once a week.
Yeah.
And back then, last year, once a week, me and my older brother, we used to just go to the sand by the beach on I-10 and just do like 10 laps. 3 laps on the sand, like barefooted.
That's nice.
We used to just do that. So like I find joy in working out. But like right now, between this, my job, and everything else I got going on, it's kind of like hard to find time. It's kind of like the only time when I got time is when I'm sleeping. Because the moment I get up, it's going wrong with it. But I am so addicted to MMA, the art, the sport. Like you said, growing up watching kung fu movies and whatever, to where you always feel like, man, it's so dope if I could just be in a level where I can move people's ass like
I would
that.
say, man, it happens all the time, especially when people kind of get in, especially big fans. They come in, they learn something. You know what? We slipped a jab, came back with a combo or whatever, and then they go watch, and they come back. It's exciting. I was watching UFC, and I seen Donald Cerrone do that combo that we worked last week. But it starts becoming alive. Now you're starting to look for something. It's not just winning and losing. You're starting to play chess with them, and I think that's really kind of one of the funnest parts. And that's why even for anybody coming in, you're gonna be able to belt and go through. You don't ever have to get punched in the face. But even though we're learning simple and fundamental, you're gonna learn how to play the game. You're gonna learn how to do it at a world championship level. Even if it's just understanding base. Now it takes thousands of reps, real intentions, good speed, the right partners, there's lots of stuff that involve getting to that level. But the understanding, I think you can really start to grasp it, and I think that triggers the mind, that stimulates the mind, man. Hey, man, you become a student of the game because we're going to really learn to play the game.
See, I don't watch a lot of UFC and MMA
I've
stuff.
never missed
so
one.
I don't really, I don't really watch it. I like watching movies, but if it's the fact that I go to the gym and one time now, and I know I'm going to keep coming back. So now it's going to interest me, like watching. Now I'm going to not just watch to watch. I want to watch to see what movie does, you know what I'm saying? Because, and then like you say, it's rep, you gotta do in the rep, because it was hard in the beginning for me because it's like driving a car, it's like everything is based on muscle memory. So the fact that like when I'm doing the combo and I can start the first one I do it right. The second time I'm all messed up, and then the third time I got it right. The fourth times you don't have it right. It's just like it's all over the place, and then that kind of fucks with me in a lot of ways.
So let me tell you, man. Man. I'll tell you man. I love, and that's why I love martial arts. What we do. So what you just explained is it's something that we all do. You threw the combo and you didn't throw it right. And so then you're like, man, I got to do better. You got to focus on the fundamentals to do it right. And you do it right. And then you do it right, and then we kind of lack a little bit. Now I want to throw it hard. I did it right. Now I want to hear more pop. And that's when we start thinking about not doing it right, and we start doing it wrong again. So you're going to constantly go through this battle of thinking the wrong thing, trying to hit them hard, trying to do this, trying to being negative on yourself. And then there's going to be times where you're thinking about stepping, doing the right move, pushing off the back foot, hearing, and actually doing what's right. See, I think that's what happens in life. Something's going wrong. We got a mistake, and we need to figure it out. We need to figure out, and we're thinking about all the things that are going. What do I need to do? What is the next best thing that I can do? We need to bring our mind back. Oh yeah, what do I know? What is my fundamentals? I need to step. I need to keep my hands up. When we go back to thinking how to do it right, we do it right. But we do this constantly, and I say me. And I'll get going, I'll throw a combo, and it'll be clean, and it'll feel like I didn't even move, and I hear pow on the mitts, and man, the mid holder will be like, dang, that was killer right there. You threw that overhand, powerful. And I'm like, yeah, white for this one, and I'll try to throw it hard, and I'll miss the mitt, and I'll be off balance, I'll hurt my elbow. Man, those are our mindset, our intention. When we stop being humble, when we start being prideful, when we start getting excited, when we start taking our mind away from what we need to focus on, whether it's faith, our love, our focus, our job, our kids, and things are going to start going wrong. And that's what I love about martial arts. It keeps you centered.
See, this is legit, because when I hear Judge talking, it's just like he's just in a way explaining life.
Like he sounds like a sensei to an extent.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
really
like it's just like you can just the same way you go to martial arts is the same way you can live your life. You know what I'm saying? Like if you took those moments, like you can understand, like, man, I was trying to do this, and I panicked, and it was so many things, and I couldn't do it right. He can apply it to your situation in life, and when it comes to, you can just say, hey, shit, yeah, it's the same situation. Yeah. You take a deep breath, like, okay, I can do this. All I have to do is do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? It all can apply, and
that's right.
And having that kind of level of skills and go through the struggle, the fact that you go through it and you keep going, that can apply to your life every day. Like every situation, you can just, and that's really good, because in a lot of sense it can apply to it.
One quote, I'll get it back on the wall. So I've had all kinds of quotes on the wall. I had a big one on my one before Laura ripped it apart. But it's a quote from Aristotle. It says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit." And so, then it just talks about, just like you're talking about, just kind of showing up, doing the right thing, and it almost, as you just show up, you do this thing over and over and over. It almost is, character is an accident. Like you can't. I heard a line. You can't cram for a character test. It just becomes who you are. But it's a habit. It's something you got to choose to do every day. I don't feel like going to the gym today. Coach can get on me. Whoever I always talk about, get you accountability buddy. Somebody that's going to go to the same class. Hey, I'm on my way to the gym. Where you at? Those little texts at the right time. Those things, man. They get. Damn. I guess I gotta go now. They on there.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Those are the things that keep you accountable. Because how easy. Love the word. And God says, God made the world, man, beautiful. This is good. This is good. This is good. One thing He made not good. Man alone. When it's just you, according to you, when you're not part of a group, when you ain't got nobody holding you accountable, you ain't got nobody say, hey, what you about to eat? Why you eating that instead of this, or whatever it is? When you got those, that's how you get better. Accountability. Also, just being around people. So there was a study, I can't remember Harvard, one of the very substantial, but it says that they studied and they said just people being in the proximity of the other people, their brain waves started to sync. So if they did a little hookup sync, so we said we didn't even talk. We just be in the same vicinity for a few hours a day, our brain waves started to think alike. So even in the word it says, walk with the wise and become wise. Being around people in the pursuit of something. Your pursuit might not be to be a fighter, but that if you're around people that are going for world champion, that guy you worked out with, Braxton, he wants to be a world champion. He's one of my pro fighters. I love working out with him. You can't, You can't slack around him. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Yeah, I love that.
I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know, it's the competitiveness in me, right? So I'm working out with him. So Josh told us to do a combo, and no, it was at the end. We was doing the little punch out. So you do it all the way to 10. So you do like one, like like one or like two. So every time he do it, he went first and he dropped to the ground like kind of like a
Sprawl,
push
we call
up. You call it what?
Sprawl.
Sprawl. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because he's the only one doing it. So, he's punching my hands like, and I'm watching him doing it. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is this? So, I don't know. So then I said, man, so when it was my turn, I said, man, what was that for about? He said, he's just something he just added. Shit, I did it too. I didn't know how to do it, but still, I still make it kind of like a push-up kind of ways. But the fact that
that's the peer
if
pressure
you do
want,
it,
though.
if you do it, I can do
somebody
it.
that's pushing
That's
you to a
the
whole
peer
new
pressure
limit,
you
man.
want.
I'm
Not
telling
like,
you.
hey, take another drink. Let's go. Hey, let's go now. Let's go to the casino. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or anything, but that's the peer pressure you want. Like, hey, look, what if? Hey, I know this is tough, but what if we made it a little tougher? You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of the craziness.
Man, if you can do, like, I'm always like, if you can do it, I can do it.
That's right.
Even though my hand was hurting, even though I couldn't breathe, but every time, even the last one I dropped, but if he can do it, I'm gonna do it. That's really good. Like, because when, like, I'm always been like, even with him, like, I'm in a constant competition. Like, I'm always trying to be better at everything I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If he do it, he's the same way. We go to the gym together, man. He's just like, if he said, we're gonna do this, whoever drop first, even my hands is cutting off. I ain't dropping, and I know he ain't dropping. Somebody have to give it at some point, but at the end of the day, that's what make it like give
Better.
you.
Is it good? Like you're just pushing somebody to a whole new limit. It's like a certain level, and like you like to touch upon what you're saying. Because a lot of time we're working out, and I put like a certain amount of weight on the thing. Like, man, damn. I'm like, boy, you can't do it. Trust me, you can't do it. And then when he started doing it, I'm like, see, it was in your mind that tells you couldn't do it, because I know I can't do it. I'm not Superman. So therefore, at least try. Try. If you fail, cool.
But Sensei, hey, honestly though, he's the worst. I'm gonna tell you this, he's the worst. Right? Let's say for instance, I just got to the gym. He been going to the gym, right? And he got that little thing that he does, like, that pissed me the fuck off. I ain't gonna lie. He'd be like, so let's say I just got to the gym, right? I feel like, okay, I'm gonna pull a 50. And he show up and say, 50? Let's say he put 120 or 160. And he's just like, and he look at me like, you ain't shit. Like, literally like, man, I'm doing to myself. I have to convince myself. I just got here, you know what I mean? But he got a way to make you feel like, so you telling me you do 50? That's what you're going to do? 50? Shit.
And even just kind of touch on this, I feel like that a lot of times, so there's this, like this pride and this ego, like even I think I hear a lot of chiropractors say CrossFit gyms keep us in business, and it's kind of that idea. Somebody did this, and I can do it too.
I gotta do it. Hurt yourself.
And so we kind of design our workouts a little different. It is a little bit more lighter way, like you say. Ain't who's gonna do the most. You're gonna have to keep going. You're gonna push. You're gonna get everything you want in terms of your physical. But man, it's gonna be if you want to push to your limit, you could dang near die and still be safe. Because it's just breathe. And it's going to take your breath away. You know what I mean? And I think that, to be honest, that's when you go to the doctor. When they determine whether you're sick or not, it's how well you breathe. When you go anywhere, they say 80% of the things that our sicknesses that we expel, it comes from our breath. It might even be more, 85. So your breathing is key. It determines how healthy you are, how endure you are, how well your lungs are, how strong. So really everything is about breathing. So in essence, what we practice, and this is kind of the fight game, we're trying to take your breath away. When you can't breathe, you ain't very good fighting. You ain't very good at anything, honestly, except for panicking and passing out. And that's really all you can do. And so that's, in essence, what we do in our workouts. I'm just trying to time. So sometimes we'll do like 20 seconds, and off 10, we call that Tabata. But you learn the rhythm. You hit that for a little while. You get good. You'll hit something and you'll find a pace. Well, then I'll secretly change it to 35 seconds instead of 20. And you're going at a pace. And then all of a sudden there's still 15 seconds left. And you just in this, oh, shit mode. Like this, I don't know. Oh, my God, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And that's where you got this is a growth. This is the moment where you get to breathe. You get to calm down. You get out of your comfort zone where you got to focus on what I know. Big deep breath, good posture, good at and move through. I got to get through it. I got to get through it. And the more you do this, you practice, you might get 15 trials of that in one workout. And then you come back twice a week, that's 30. And so, man, 30 times in your week, you've been tested. You got brought to your brink, and maybe 20 of them you said, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep 10 of them. It says 20 votes for I'm a warrior. I'm going to keep going, 10 not. Then the next week is 22, 20, 28. Then, man, you pushing it. You're getting past it. You push it back. And time after time, you get to make this decision that I'm not going to quit, that it's not going to break me. No, I set my mind to this. No matter what's thrown at me, I'm not. I mean, you get these chances to put a vote into this. Now I'm a warrior. I'm a soldier.
Building a mindset.
Over and over and over and over. And you can do it in a safe way where you're not going to hurt your back. You're not going to be broken because or it's cool. You can sit it out too. You can. And man, I've done it. I do it still. I'm hitting workouts. I want to be the world champion. So I'm working as hard as I can. I get to the end and I'm like, I got to take a break before that bell rings. And usually I would say it lasts about 3 seconds. And 3 seconds later, I go and I'm like, you fucking bitch, you better get up and I'll will myself through it. Even at the brink of death, I feel like I can't move anymore. I'll sit there for a second and then nope, you're not quitting. And I just don't even, so we talked about Goggins earlier. I just don't know. I think the more you do this, the more you train this, I'm just not sure what's going to break you in the world. I don't want to, I don't want to be broken. You know what I mean? I'm saying?
It's not a challenge. You already got to go challenge you.
But you practice these things, and I feel like life is easier and it's better.
So let me ask you this: like when you was fighting, and then you want to go through a fight, you never gonna go fight and looking at who you fighting and feel scared of them, nervous of them,
every time.
That's what I heard. A lot of people say that the moment before the bell ring, you're nervous. But how you get through that?
How you deal to that?
So I watched something. I watched something on a documentary on Mike Tyson before, and there's some misery loves company. When you talk about it with your friends, your homies, the fight. But hearing that Mike, he's like, man, I'd be petrified before I fight. I'd be scared that, well, what if I don't succeed? What if I don't win? What if they hurt me? Whatever it is. And he's like, and I would just say constantly, every step I get to that ring, I get more and more confident. Every step I get more and more confident. I'm a monster. Every step I get more and more confident. And he said that over and over and over and over. And every step I get more and more confident. So I started doing that, almost verbalizing. When I said, so I'll give you a good example. After I won the Karate Combat World Championship, the first one I won 2. So the first one, somebody came up to me afterwards like, man, I wish I loved fighting as much as you did. I saw you before the fight, and you looked like you were just in the most peaceful, excited place. Like you couldn't wait to go out there. Flash forward to before the fight. I'm freaking out. Why am I even doing this? Man, I'm panicking. But I've learned that when that fear, that thought comes in, I'm going to speak out. No, I love this. There's no place I'd rather be. And oh my God, in my mind, I'm thinking, you're petrified. And so it was happening so much that I was just on repeat. Man, I love it here. There's no place I'd rather be. Every step I get more and more confident. And I was walking around. I didn't notice. I was in my own little world there. Walking around. I'm a lion. God's brought me here. Man, I'm just verbalizing, just speaking through it. Just speaking through every step I get more and more confident. Every step of that ring, every moment I get closer, I get more and more confident. I love it. There's no place I'd rather be. I'm saying over and over. And by the time I get in there, I'm ready for it. But this person who was back in the back saw me and said, man, you love it. He don't know. I was freaking out. Maybe he'll watch the pod. But I was freaking out. I was petrified. I was probably the most nervous person but nobody could tell.
And you see, those little things, you might think they don't work. They actually do.
Work,
right? So every time, because when you're somebody that really like a competitor, or, when situations like this come, you be like, I do it too on some level, yeah, shit, I ain't gonna quit, man. I ain't a quitter. Shit, I'm a fucking lion. I'm a beast. Right. Even though at the end of the day, you bushing yourself. Yeah. But I'm tricking myself knowing hey, we can actually do this.
Yes, right.
But even like you say, you got fear, you got the line between fear and brave is so thin. You know what I'm saying? You just have to go in there and break that fear. The minute you break that fear, make you brave. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just scared. Yeah, it's everybody. I don't care who it is. Even the best martial art, like somebody like you, even the SEAL Team 6, them guys that go fight, and in the moment, He's gonna hit you.
Yeah.
He's just how you deal with it at the moment, and that's what's gonna get you to the other side of everything. And
Well, I know we kind of talked about this off camera, but just for the people watching, let's just say if you had to compare yourself to like a well-known fighter, like that's fighting in the UFC or Bellator that people get to see on a daily basis, who would you compare yourself to? To it's kind of like, you see this guy, that's like a little bit of me type of thing.
So, man, I like to think I'm my own guy too. You know, I really have my own style. But we were kind of chatting when I was in MMA. I really embraced the karate range, so I would kind of be like what I would say, like a Wonder Boy style guy, Lyoto Machidas, range and counter punching, just try to have good distance. I was using karate to offset a lot of guys that were kickboxing because the range is different. And so then I got into karate combat, which is all really great karate guys that compete, that going into full contact. So these guys were used to the range, and so the karate range was not, and basically we were pretty competitive there. So what I did to them, I would close the distance, and I fought in a very kickboxing range, right in their face in a pressure. So in karate, you hit and you stop, you hit and you stop. So I'd just be right in their face, just smothering them. Where in MMA, I would be the exact opposite. I would keep range. So it was cool kind of being whatever, depending on what I wanted, depending on who I was fighting, I would use whatever I need to, whether it was range to offset their kickboxing or kickboxing to offset their range. So I like that ability to have that. I have my black belt. I just got my black belt in Muay Thai, which is a more of a pocket combo style martial arts. Karate is rangy. So having that almost fastball, change up type back and forth, I think is unique. A lot of guys are one-dimensional, and even in terms of their striking, and I like to really have that ability to press into the pocket, or I can get around and spin kick too.
Another question, because like whenever I watch MMA fights, even though I don't even know shit about MMA, I always find myself just like what people do when they watch sports. Be like, man, why the hell he did that? Why he do that? Why he did this or whatever? But you as a professional, watching those fights, do you find yourself having those same reactions to other fighter that's fighting?
For sure, there's times where I'm like, why the hell you did that? You know, like, and I think that you also know in a fight things change. Like, it's just chaos. It's crazy, and sometimes you make mistakes and you do things that you go back and you learn from. You know, and I think that's the beauty of the path, the beauty of the journey. You know, you see even guys that make big mistakes. And you know, I watched. I can't remember who. I don't know if Khalil Roundtree, I believe, is one of them. Can't remember. I think, but he got a kick caught, and the dude did a jump spinning back kick and knocked the guy out. Remember, he caught one leg, and it was like the knockout of the year. And so
I think I know the black dude when he cut it and he spin around. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That year was the knockout of the year. So it was the most. And so this guy that got knocked out, I can't remember what exactly his name
There's another black dude also. I can't think of his name also. I know what you're talking about.
He got knocked out. And so basically, it was the most watched clip that year in terms of him getting knocked out by the spin kick. Well, so like that's bad. You know, what do you think? You know, push your foot down. You know, it was pretty ninja what he got caught with. But flash forward to a year, 2 years later. The other guy maybe been 2-2 or something like that. Just kind of, he had won a world championship. He took that moment and even that, what are you doing? What are you thinking? And it lit him on fire, and he got better and he got better, and he pushed back and he pushed back, and he ended up winning a world championship because of that. I love that. So a lot of times when you have those moments, man, it should be like everything. I think the world is real easy. Like, what are you thinking? You dumb, what a dumb mistake, man, when we really got to embrace, hey, what can you learn from it? Who you going to become now? What you going to do with it? And I think, man, those things, you ask that guy, hey, are you glad you got knocked out? If you asked him right after that, he'd be like, nah, no way. I was a dumb mistake. I'd have never made that mistake. You ask him now what it did, the fire that it lit, the things that became because of it, the world champion that he won that I know that got lit on fire. Michael Jordan failing on his high school basketball team, lit a fire and developed something different. I mean, what are you doing with it? So a lot of times as we're watching...
It can make you and break you.
Yeah, well, that's right.
But that's why I was going to touch up on Usman.
Yeah.
That was like that. Like I told my favorite fighter is Easy, and we got Usman as my second one. Mm-hmm. When Usman had the belt, he was undefeated. Mm-hmm. Like, nobody could touch him. Whether it was Masvidal or whoever it was, couldn't touch him. But after that dude kicked him, what's his name, that British guy?
Yeah,
Leon Edwards. After Leon Edwards kicked him, the Usman we see, that's not the same guy. Like, touched up on that a little bit.
Well, I would say, potentially, you know, when you're flying high, you're rolling, everything's good, and really there is this kind of untouchable invincibility until it's not. And then what you gonna do with it? Are you gonna let it define you, or are you gonna let it? And I would say that the biggest answer, and I'll say it, you know, there's lots of stories, my own stories about it. Man, it's, do you want to go back and work? So like after that happened, so the Usman that was undefeated, let's just say a level of 1 to 100. He was like a workaholic, like a never.
Yeah, he was.
94. You know what I'm saying? We'll call them wrestlers, them Russian wrestlers, 99. But he had 94. You know,
He was a great wrestler. But the thing is, his striking game was A1 also.
But yeah, I wouldn't even call. You know, that's what's so nice about a good grappler. It makes their striking a lot better. But I would just say, then afterwards, like you come back from that, you gotta go to 96. But some people, man, you 34, 35, man, I don't want to be 30. I don't want to go to 96. I was trying to go to 92 now, 91. You know, man, it's tough. You got to respond to everything with work. You know, you talk Kobe Bryant's, these Michael Jordan, man, the work that they put in, man, the failure, the constant coming back, the relentlessness, the standard of yourself. You can see that when that standard of yourself breaks, I want to be the best fighter in the world. I'm going to be the best fighter in the world. I feel like there's been lots of times where you just see that person that's close or right there or pursuing it, and you can just see when they've decided, nah, that just take a lot of work. You know what I'm saying?
I feel Poirier's going through the same thing. Because
Right
he said, man, look, after losing this title fight, I feel like the amount of work he would take to get back on top. Because
right.
Poirier would have to probably win like 2-3 fights before he can get like another title shot. But knowing the amount of work, he's 35, he's been doing this for like God knows how long.
Yeah.
It gets to a point to it's kind of, I don't know, with age, to where people's mind breaks. It's kind of like, man, I don't really know if I want to go back to hell again, because I've been through hell so many times. It ain't fun.
And being a dad, you know, I mean, I got 4 girls, you know, and being dad and husband, you know, you gotta find the time to do that. When you're a fighter, you're a fighter, man. Especially when you're doing what Poirier does, man, you're in it. You're different. You're disappearing into warrior mode. Like when you're in camp training for big fights, you're not the same. You can't be the same. I mean, I love being with my kids. I always am, you know, even with fights times and stuff. But you're becoming. It's like you're going into war. You're preparing yourself for war. You have to prepare your mind for that. And I think that at the highest level, the higher you go, the more you have to disappear into that. The more you have to go in, and that's a hard place to be and live. So I would say that's where them Dagestani wrestlers.
Yeah, just to touch up on that, what the heck make those guys so freaking good? That shit makes no sense.
They got a house, a hotel, and it's just basically hey, we're gonna live in that top of the world, hardest worker. Don't come here unless you're ready to just commit your entire life to it. And I think that it shows in their fighting. You know, and I would say that somebody got kids. I imagine if you asked how good of a father somebody is that's an undefeated Dagestani wrestler, it'd be hard to be like, he's great. Yeah. But I think that you got to understand, man, there's things in this world where you got to have balance, you know, and I'm not saying that you got to go with what you want. Where your heart is, that's where your head is. You know, like that's where everything is going to be. So some people are different, and I think it's really, really tough for a Poirier with a wife, with a daughter, you know, coming from that man to commit to that much warrior, and that's hard to. You know?
I got 2 questions for you. Really, 2 questions. My first question is how you deal with defeat. Like I'm talking about, like when you lose a fight, how you deal with that. So
I'll say this, and I think this is good for everybody to practice dealing with failure, because I have dealt with a lot of it. You know, it's been a long journey. I've competed in karate my whole life, so I've been losing. To be honest, I make a joke, but it's probably gonna be if I ever wrote a biography of myself, it'd be called "Learning to Lose," because I hated losing my whole life. Hated losing. And I remember one year I got second place at a little USK World Championship. I got second place. I was so mad at second place. I went and threw the trophy off the top of the building. I get on. So it was just it was a big trophy, you know, second in this big championship, and I threw it off. I was so mad at losing. That's just how it was. Learning to deal with it. What I've done, what I think the advice I would give people to do, is to set this precedent. If when you lose, so for example, after I lose, man, I'm like heartbroken because I put everything into it. I want to win so bad. I feel like. Then at the end of that, I'll get to a place where I'm like, all right, what I need to change, what I need to do, what I need to get better at. I'm gonna make it so who I become because of this loss. And sometimes they're not even fighting. You know, I'm gonna make sure. Man, I miss my kid's second birthday. I'm going to make sure that I'm the best daddy ever because of this loss. This loss, you know, whatever it is. I'm going to start running every day. I'm going to make sure you just change something. Something bad happened and say, because of this, I'm going to do this. Then flash forward a year later. And I'll just say this. I lost my first karate combat fight, or my second karate combat fight. I lost. I was first time I ever fought one, easy knockout. Felt like this is my sport. All striking. Don't got to deal with wrestlers. Love it. Thank you, God.
The wrestlers are annoying.
You created it for me. I'm about to win the world championship. I knew it. Set my heart on it. Second fight, they call week before the fight. Hey, this guy's opponent dropped out. Would you fight? Stay ready. You know, let's go. You know, it's easy. You know, this is my sport. Got to get in there. New world record. Fastest knockout in karate combat history.
How long was it? Faster than Masvidal?
No, so it's like at this point it's like a minute 45.
Oh, okay.
But check it out. I'm not the one that got the knockout. I got knocked out. Floored me. What? Just like, you know, like what? I'm about to be and then I lose.
Damn.
I went through that kind of existential crisis. Like, what is this? What I thought was this what? And I made the decision. All right. I might not be the world champion, but I am not going to not work as hard as possible. I'm not going to make sure that it ain't going to be because somebody outworked me. So I got to work. I got to training. I got to running. I got to doing everything I possibly could to get better. And I became something new. I became a little bit Goggins, a little crazier than that. And I worked hard, and I started winning. And I became the first ever welterweight world champion of karate combat. But it don't happen. I'll say this, that if I'd have won that fight, if I just knocked that dude out, then it'd have happened later down the road. And I wouldn't have won it. But it happened then. And because of who I became from that, I'm glad it happened. Of course, it'd be great to be undefeated to the championship, but it changed me. It changed my perspective. It changed who I was. It changed my work ethic. So I'm glad I lost. When something happens, and that bad thing happens, whatever, hey, you make your mind up that because of that, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be something different. I'm going to do this every day. And you start doing that and do that. One day you're going to look back at that moment, man, I'm glad that happened because that created this. You got to create life from those deaths, you know, and that's that failure. You got to create life from it. And that's what martial arts teaches you. Hey, bringing something out of nothing. Keep going. There's more in it. There's life in it. You got to keep it. And so that's what I would say. When things go wrong, when it feels like you're sitting in that failure, stand up. Hey, make your mind up. Because of this, I'm going to be this. I'm going to be more resilient. You know, just like we said, I love the scripture. It says, you know, take joy in the struggle. The struggle is what produces perseverance, endurance, character. That's Romans 5:3. But that's even physical. Your body, when you build a muscle, you talking about going to the gym, your body breaks down. Your muscle breaks down. When it heals back stronger. That's what happens. You break down, you heal back stronger. Struggle is what makes us grow. Those losses, if you can stand up and make life in it, you're going to come back stronger. You can let it defeat you. You can let it define you, and you can come back weaker. But there's always life in it. If you stand up, if you believe in it, you find something to become better from it, then you will. And you'll look back and be like, man, I'm glad that happened. I'm glad I lost that one. You gotta decide. It ain't easy. You gotta decide.
But for those people, kind of like we talked about earlier, the Usman, I'm a huge Usman fan too. I want him to come back stronger because I remember when that man was on top of the world, he was untouchable. Nobody could touch him. He defended his belt fight after fight after fight. But for some reason, after Lee and Edwards kicked him, even toward all the podcasts that I watched, they were talking about that. And some people say it's kind of like for some reason, it's kind of when you thought you were invincible and then somebody put hands on you, you realize you're not invincible. It's kind of hard to get the I'm invincible mindset back again.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's even, maybe some more powerful going in there with the fear. Hey, look, I'm I'm not invincible. You know, I think that is tough. That takes some extra resilience, but the answer is work. Is he putting in the work? When you decide that I'm not gonna let it, I'm gonna get back to being invincible. At least in that mindset, you never really can trigger. You're never gonna get past it mentally, but you can work. You can become something different. And I would say that that's why it's hard for a guy like Usman, because you got to become something better than what you already was. And so that everything you're doing, I would say you got to look at it and be like, hey, what can I do different? Whether it's change my striking, you know, go in here. There's something I need. You got to take something and make it towards progression. Or if, and that's a hard thing for Usman to do. And I think that that's where it kind of gets lost a little bit, where you kind of just like, well, if I'm going to just keep doing the same thing or keep training with the same coaches and keep doing my, then you're not invincible anymore. Like, you've raised the bar here. Well, now there's a new bar. You want to be champ again. This ain't the bar. That's the bar. You got to change something. Hey, I see what you're doing. I'm going to do that. I'm going to match it. I'm going to do this. And now in MMA, I would say it's just I think it's the hardest game in the world. When somebody raises that bar, that's why you talk about Poirier. It's so, man, he could do everything right, present, man, and have his best fight ever. Still might not win, you know.
That was one of his best fights, that's for sure. Because like he defended the takedown so well.
It was beautiful, man.
It was beautiful,
and as you know, like, and when you get in there and you're in the fight, you know it's like millimeters at moments at both sides to being over. Like a fight, it just
first fight with Leon Edwards. Do you think Leon Edwards got lucky the first fight with Usman? Because that kick came out of no freaking where.
So I did, you know, the stabbing in the front kick is big, you know. So he did set it up. It was legit. There is no. In essence, I think that you need to look at it like there is no fluke.
It felt like a fluke. He lost all 4 rounds.
But in terms of who's a better fighter right there, Usman is. You know,
for
like
sure.
So like you said, but you still put together that's what I love about fighting. It don't matter if you beat my ass. You got to make it to the end if you're gonna win a decision. You got to. There's things you got to do. You got to survive. And I think as a striker, you kind of, they say always a puncher's chance, you know, and that's what he's holding on to, and even more so when it's kicks, it's a kicker's chance for sure. Even when your arms are dead.
Beautiful kick, man. I even trying to hate on the kick because I'm an Usman fan. When I see it, I can't even hate on that shit. That's so beautiful.
That was, but, man. And even the set, like he did stab some front kicks, so he set it up. But with that said, it don't matter if Usman comes back and beats him. What are you doing with it? What's Usman doing with it? What did Leon Edwards do with it? Leon Edwards ramped it up from there, and put it on him in the next one. So the Conor McGregor Jose Aldo fight, and that moment. So if you remember, like
I remember, I think Jose Aldo mentally lost the fight before he even stepped foot in there.
But that's like the Conor. Well, Conor's like got a losing record since then. Jose Aldo even came back, you know, kind of went through a struggle, but came back, and man, from there, Aldo's got a better record. If you said. Even it looked like the end of Aldo's career and the beginning of Conor's.
Yeah.
But to be honest, if you look at their records, Aldo did better. Aldo took that moment and did better with it than Conor did. Man, that's what are you doing with everything?
I got to ask your opinion of some guy, Pereira. Because Pereira makes it look easy. Sometimes when I watch these fights, it's kind of like one of those fights you feel like that's just set up for the opponent to lose.
I'm not certain it's not easy. I don't know why people don't just take him down. Like, so I don't. Potentially, he's got great ground, but we ain't seen it, so I don't know. But that's what I mean. Like, it does seem like they're trying to strike. Don't strike with him.
Yeah, exactly. Because it feels like the fight. Like, first of all, he just take his time. Yeah. But you know that left hook, you know it's coming. It's just a question of when. And then once that shit connect, that's a wrap.
That finish versus Jamal Hill was so cold. You know, I don't know if you watched it.
Yeah. I know exactly.
He gets kicked in the nuts, and the ref's coming to stop him, but you could see.
He was like, nah,
as a
I really
fighter,
need that.
He was already in tune with I got him. I'm about to finish him. Like you could almost.
You could tell. That's why he was like, "Don't worry about it. I got him."
You're gonna mess up everything I've been working on right now. And I felt that before. I had a fighter, so we've done it before. Where I'm a pressure guy, so I don't want to wear you out. I'm gonna just drag you into deep waters and make you just hate your life. That's the way I want to fight you. You know, and so sometimes you get kicked in the nuts, and you're like, well, it hurts, but if I take a break, so do you. And so you're like, nah.
Nah, don't worry, I got it. That's exactly how it felt like. When he got kicked in the nuts, the referee was trying to interfere, be like, hold on, you got kicked in the nuts, are you okay? He just stopped the referee. He held his head and don't worry about it, I got him. And in 2 seconds, they knocked him out.
Damn.
That shit was cold, because Pereira, when I see him, because sometimes I watch his fights, and I'm like, okay, this dude about to lose. And then when you watch the fight, the way the fight play out, especially for me in front of me, I'm like, oh, are they letting him win? They know he got like a vicious left hook.
It's like
watch out for
he's
it.
so slow and so kind of just patient. It's like, oh, I'll strike with him. And it's like
that left
he
hook
just
come out of
setting
nowhere.
you up to die soon. And
I was surprised Easy knocked him out. Like I wasn't easy to
too,
win.
honestly.
I was surprised because I felt like that. Like when Easy lost the first fight, I felt like okay, I think Easy made his match because I think Easy had lost to him like 3 times before that.
Yep.
So I'm like, Easy made his match. So when Easy beat him the second time or whatever it was, I'm like, dang, where did that come from?
Yeah, I think that was just that kind of. We'll kind of go right back to it after the first fight. I think Izzy started training for his like, hey, this is my fight, like, yeah, exactly. And so like, and so Pereira was this dude I done beat 3 times, or, you know, like,
yeah.
And so like you can imagine the training camp in there, and you know. With that said, you know, you still got to go out there and do it. You got to fight your demons. You know that fear is in there. We were talking about fear earlier. I love the quote. Courage isn't the absence of fear; it's the conquest of it. You know, so we all got it. Who's gonna conquer it? And so you got to go out there and do it. Even though I would say same thing in terms of striking, Pereira was way better. Just like Usman was way better in the first Leon fight, but he went out there and he did it. You battled the demon. You pulled off the shot that made it happen.
In your professional opinion, if you had to talk about a GOAT of MMA, I know a lot of people go to John Jones. Who would it be for you? Because you're an expert, you see it differently.
You know, of course, you know, John, if you just look at in the ring, who's the most dangerous person to his peers, I would say John Jones. I do kind of have a little asterisk on that. You know, I think the word is martial arts, so I think martial artist is key. I think to be a GOAT in the martial arts, you got to really... There's a line of character that you got to keep, and I'm not saying he don't finish there. You know, you got to really come back, and I think, man, I love people messing up and coming back better. You know that because we all screw up.
He's undefeated. He got that godlike status. He only lost 1 fight, and that was like a disqualification or no contest or whatever.
He was winning, and so, but I would say that in terms of the most dangerous, it would be him. But the GOAT, I would call. I think I like to call GSP the GOAT.
I was about to say the same freaking thing. I was about to say the same thing. Because GSP for me, because GSP was the kind of guy that brought me into MMA.
Yep.
Funny story for the people that's actually listening. I started playing UFC game. I didn't know shit about UFC games. And then for some reason, I was playing with my little brother. And every time I picked GSP, he had like little spinning back fist. My little brother couldn't stop it. And I used to just play back and forth with my brother. I'm like, who's this guy? And then I started watching UFC for real. And I'm talking about like what? 2010, 11-ish.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, okay, this dude is like, my little brother would just pick like anybody in the roster.
Yeah.
But for some odd reason, the spinning back fist, he couldn't stop it. When I played with GSP, he couldn't stop that. And that got me addicted to MMA. And since like 2012, I watched damn near every single little thing they got going on. Yeah. That's why to an extent, even though I can't even throw a freaking punch like they do, but at the same freaking time, I became addicted to the sport. That's why I know so much. So you and we can go back and forth. Even though you don't know shit.
No, I don't know nothing. I feel like you're speaking a different language.
But that's what got me addicted. So GSP for me, like he was the real GOAT. Cause like the dude, I think he had a karate background like you. But back then, grappling wasn't as heavy as it is now. And those guys from Dagestanis just came over and freaking took over.
Well, see, and that's what I think why GSP is the GOAT, because he wasn't the grappler where you see all the GOATs are grapplers. So he wasn't a grappler. He was a karate guy, striker. And then he saw that the best wrestle. So he started wrestling with the Canadian wrestling team. And he really became probably what I call the best MMA wrestler from striking to takedown, man. And I don't know what the percentages are, but his percentage of takedowns got to be as high as anybody. But he became what I would say he became something different. He didn't wrestle his way in. He wasn't wrestling bears. He was doing side kicks and stuff, getting going. But he said, I see the value in this. And he probably outworked everybody according to
But as a striker, your style of a fighting striker, because me personally, like most of the fighters that I like or fan of, they mostly strikers. And if I see the grapplers doing what they do, it feels like a cheating code. Like personally for you, being a striker guy, what annoys you the most about a grappler?
Everything.
Hey, it annoys me watching it. I'm not even in the fight.
So like I said, I grew up in karate, and I love the chess of the striking, the movement. I love to be able to, you can mess with somebody without even touching them. There's like beauty. It's almost like, I don't know, like wizardry. You know what I'm saying? You can mess with people. You can feint and get them to move a little bit. You can get in their head without even punching them. I love that. I feel like, and it's absolutely props to wrestlers, but I feel like, so it's like chess. It's the most beautiful sport ever. I feel like wrestling is just somebody throwing a blanket on top of the chessboard and be like, nah, no chess.
Hey, it
No
feels
chess.
like that. Like if you watch the fight, because like I said, I'm sure, like I said, you see it differently than I do. I'm just a regular fan. Those guys from Dagestan, those dude, they just know once they take you down, they expose you to a world you don't know nothing about. It's kind of like, let's just say right now, right? You speak English. And then I'm like, okay, check this out. I'm about to take you to Italy and just watch you struggle. That's what they do, because that's the best explanation I got for it. Because when they take you down, because they got a lot of people who are okay grapplers or good grapplers, but once they take you down, you realize I'm in a whole different freaking world.
That's right.
Even Poirier talked about that. He said, like, whenever Habib took him down the first time, he says, like, that dude was doing stuff, I didn't even freaking know how to counter them. He says, like, people, like, my weight, they gotta know where the weight of my body gonna fall and know how to use that. It's like I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Damn.
So those dudes, like, if you, like, since you started doing a little bit of fighting, when you watch those guys, you're like, man, that's a whole new freaking level. And that's why I feel like a cheat code. It's kind of like you came to a fight, you think you're gonna be this and that, dude just pull out a gun and pew. That's exactly how it feels like when you watch it.
It does kind of feel like
That's
it.
exactly how it feels like when you watch it. But the thing is, why? Okay, like, do you think in the future of the sport, from your professional point of view, like with those guys taking over with that style of grappling and whatever, do you think that might ruin the sport for strikers?
So I don't think it's gonna ruin sport. There's these warriors that are gonna go. I mean, it's just gonna evolve the sport. You just gotta wrestle now. Like it's just rooted into it. Like your ceiling is how well you can wrestle. So it's nothing stays at the top for long. These Dagestani wrestlers, they're at their peak. There's a lot of hard-nosed, hard-working ninjas around the world that are looking and saying, all right, I'm gonna outwork them. And so it's coming. But now I would say what they create is you have to wrestle. There is, so when I would just even say when I was in there, I didn't have to. I could sprawl, I could move, I could outrange. They couldn't even get to me a lot of times. Now
The grappling.
they're gonna be able to get you if you can't defend it, if you can't get back up. Come to karate combat. Like that's what you need to do. You need to go to a kickboxing league, because if you do MMA now, wrestling's got to be, one of your top time.
What's the name of that
constraints.
Polish guy, Worowicz? The one that think he's a freaking samurai.
Oh,
What's his name?
Yeah, what's his
like,
name?
Worowicz. I know you got like some of Vitch in his name.
Yeah.
What type of style is that? That's weird.
I have no idea. So I haven't even seen him fight much.
I've seen him fight plenty of times. Like, that
yeah,
dude do
yeah.
the weirdest shit I've never seen anybody do in the ring.
Yeah. So I don't see, as much as I'm in it, man. I don't honestly get a chance to watch everything I've seen. I saw the last week with Poirier, but I don't get a chance to watch too much. So I hadn't seen him fight.
Oh, but like, you have to check him out. Like, the way he fights,
I've heard.
it's odd. It's genuinely odd. It's kind of one of those fights where it's kind of like they were talking about it and they were like, you can't prepare for that. Because you can't even bring somebody in the gym to spar and be like,
that's right.
Trying to do what this guy gonna do. Because the shit that he does is just so weird.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes he's just like, you're fighting with him, he just like get down on his knees. And then as you approach him, like, oh, I got him, he jump up and do a backflip or some shit. Like, that's just weird. Like, but he's a great fighter. Like, he genuinely believes within himself. When you hear him talk, he believes he's a legit samurai.
Yeah.
So
Man,
it's one of those weird things.
Will you get that mind set up on something, man? Those are the people that you better watch out for. You know what I'm saying? When it's kind of like we were talking about. Those guys that can create that reality in their mind and live in it. That's right. That's kind of what you have to do. I love the stories of Jordan, but just hearing different times where I was hearing one story about Jordan. And they said that somebody said something about him right before a game one time. Somebody,
off the Last Dance, yeah.
Yeah, and so and it pissed him off. So he'd always just assault this team, like just put on him. And then they like clip to the dude, and he's like, man, I never said nothing about Jordan.
Like,
he just creating that in his head. But whatever makes the goat, whatever makes the ninja, the samurai, the warrior, you learn to create it, and those are the ones that I would say you need to fear the most, you know.
Okay, I know I've been bugging the shit out of you with one question after another. That's gonna be my last one for the show. I'm sure you got plenty more. If you had to go back and talk to your 15-year-old self, and then you had to pretty much try to guide them through everything you've learned to avoid him from making certain mistakes or whatever, what would you say to him?
Oh man, yeah. So I mean, there would be a lot that I could say, but you know, we talked about. So I wouldn't try to avoid no mistakes, because I really do feel like those are the turns that move life. You know, whether it was a wrong thing, maybe sometimes I wish I wouldn't have hurt some people, but other than that, I'm embracing the failure. I'm learning to lose. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to take any of those away. So I probably wouldn't say nothing.
Be like, keep doing where you're going.
I would probably
gonna
say
take you to the right rate.
Start wrestling. Honestly, start wrestling.
Hey man.
So, but let me ask you this: so for the belt, like how you know when they know you're ready for the next belt? How you get like changing belts?
So like you talking about like getting your black belt and different belts, and so each style kind of has their own little criteria to moving on. So like karate, you'll have to learn certain things like katas. You have to put in time, certain disciplines, certain techniques, and then they'll kind of level you up through time. So I just got my black belt in Bang Muay Thai. So that's Denver, Colorado. Dwayne Bang Ludwig, who's the best. It's the best striking system in the world. TJ Dillashaw's coach. But anyway, we went up there. So, I mean, obviously time, reps, making sure you can teach, making sure you can share the craft. We're talking about and so that's kind of a big part of martial arts, making sure you can share, make sure you can understand. You're not just throwing out crap, you know. You're really teaching, you know, the discipline, you know, the arts. But really, I would just say time and commitment. I got a quote written on my wall right now. It says, "A black belt is just a white belt that never quit." So,
damn, that's good.
That's good. You can tell I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And I've always found it interesting because I feel like grappling is like a cheat code. It's like when you're playing a video game and the grapplers just through that cheat code, you don't stand a chance. Because when you watch them dudes from Dagestan do it the way they do it, you got Habib, Habib from the past, the one that just won against Poirier. Islam. You got I like Hamza. He talking shit. I like Hamza.
I mean, he strikes too. Like so, like he'll go out there and it's
like
he gonna take you down real fast too.
Like I gave him his respect when he fought that the Trailblazer. What's his full name? That dude talk a lot of shit. Like he talked in the middle of the fight. I know his nickname is the Trailblazer. Like when and the dude is like somebody that's respected. Everybody know him. He just walked in there, and then one of the things he said, that dude don't belong in there with me. Because the people are like, wait, like you ran to the fight, you choose to empty the gas tank from the start. He says it's because I knew that God don't even belong in there with me. Like, you know the level of arrogance it takes to say that? That's why I mean, like, whenever you watch the fight, you like, those guys, they're like a cheat code. When they take you down, when they wrestle, it's a whole different freaking level. And I've been watching the fight since watching the sport since like 2012. I've seen many grapplers that do okay, you know, they can choke you out.
Yeah.
And those guys takes it to a whole new level. Like whenever Islam was finding that guy from Brazil, what's his name? The guy with the blonde hair. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, the
Pereira? No, not Pereira.
No,
he got the blonde hair. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, if you wouldn't have asked, yeah.
Yeah, but I knew he was an okay wrestler. And I'm like, okay, now I'm about to see. And he made it look so easy. He choked him out. When Islam choked him out, I'm like, dude, those guys, where the hell they came from? They need to ban him from the UFC or something.
They're killer, and he was submitting everybody. I can't think of his name.
I can't think of his name, but I used to be a huge fan of him because like he was the type of guy.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He's really good. I mean,
he could wrestle. Like he was an okay wrestler. So I was like, okay, now Islam about to fight this dude. We about to see if those dudes, somebody can stop those guys. And the guy didn't even stand a chance. Like when you watch the sport, you see what they do when they take you down. The best thing you can do is kind of like, that's why a lot of people give him Poirier a lot of credit, is because his takedown defense was A1.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though his takedown defense was A1, I think he took him down like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. Oh, you're not gonna stop him.
Like he tried like 10, at least 10 to 15 times, but he was only able to take him down like 3 or 4 times. And those dudes are A1. Like when they picked him up and swept his leg on the way down, I ain't never seen nothing like that. Maybe you have, but I've never seen nothing like that.
I had a guy do that to me.
Like when he held his leg, when Poirier was like fighting so hard to where like I'm not gonna let you take him down. Like he held his leg and just swung him around. I'm like, what the fuck is that? But maybe to you that's not impressive because I'm sure you've seen it 1,000 times. But to me it was.
Yeah, no, I mean it's incredible, but it's what you expect now when those guys fight. That's just what they're gonna bring.
So you feel like maybe like this guy can prep up the next generation to
yeah, for sure.
focus on your
They're
wrestling.
just setting a new bar. You know, it's always gonna get met. I mean, that's just the nature of sports, man. People are gonna figure it out. And don't get me wrong, the reign will be probably long, and they'll always have some champions come out of there because wrestling is gonna be top. You know how well you wrestle is how well you're gonna be able to be the champion. But I do think that there's gonna be. You're gonna have to be some, and it's always like that too. Exciting fighters, you know. You're gonna have your Conor McGregors, these guys that come in that really. There's always this puncher's chance, but these heavy-handed people are gonna create the excitement. But them guys gotta wrestle. Everybody gotta wrestle. I, in fact, you know, seen your kids at summer camp.
I got my question. No, my question for you: when you was fighting, because do you talk like like before the fight? Do you talk much shit to the other opponent?
No. So I don't. I've always wanted somebody to talk it back.
But you never did like.
But I don't talk. So man, I'm super nice, man.
You never be like, I'm about to beat your motherfucking ass.
Nah.
I'm telling you right here, you have no chance with.
Nah.
I don't see Judge.
That's why
that's
why I make McGregor. It's the fact that he talked that shit and he walked it too.
I mean, he's funny. He's kind of charismatic. He's humorous, man. I think that I love. It's part of the game. Mental warfare is part of the game. But I also think. You need to put your personality into your game. So you got to fight like who you are. You got to be who you are. You can't fake it. And I'm just not a shit talker guy. I'm not going to talk shit. This is not who I am. I like, if you do, I'm going to beat your ass. I don't want to say it like that, but that's where I've always wanted somebody to like, give me, because I'm a nice guy. I really don't even like hurting people. It's just really chess to me. I'm playing a game. I just want to beat you at my favorite game. But I've always kind of wanted somebody to just be like,
just poke the bear a little bit.
Yeah, just make me mad, or like make me not want to be like, oh man, I don't want to punch you,
But you said something earlier. You said you got like 4 daughters, and my favorite fighter is Shevchenko. I can't think of the first name, but I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. Is that something you'd be interested for your daughter to pursue?
So at first, when before I had him, I was like, yeah, that'd be cool to have like a ninja. But now that I got them, I'm like, nah, man, I don't want them to go through that. But I'll say this, looking at their character, so I feel like the 2 oldest ones, probably not. My oldest one is a little competitive. My second one is princess. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna catch her in a fight. But my third one is a little gangster. She's a little crazy. She's 2. My next one up is 5, and she's almost 2. I should be whipping her.
But let's just say, if she shows interest, would you push her towards it?
To be honest, I think martial arts. All my girls gonna know how to choke out somebody. Especially I'm a big believer. If you got girls, jiu-jitsu is just great self-defense. It's a little tough, but man, you want your girls to be able to choke out somebody who's trying to push up on them, or something. Anything like that. So my girls will know how to do that. But I would just say my third one is the only one who might, and I love that. I love what martial arts does, but it would be a hard road to be dad, because I know I'd be cage side, be in corner, and you know what I mean, like the heartbreak. I know there's beauty in it. We talked about it, the losses and the pain and the beauty that comes from it. So it would just be a hard road.
For my girl.
But I'll say this. Does seem like potentially it could be in her, so I'm gonna let them be who they want to be. I'm gonna just try to be the best dad I can for them.
Because you already know if she chose that path, that means to an extent she learned it from you. So therefore, like whether you're her main coach or like in a corner, like you gotta be in a corner like one way, shape, or form.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm training her for sure. I'm gonna be there's gonna be, my dad was my coach for a long time, and there was some terror in the relationship a little bit. Like having it. I'll just say this at some point. I just stopped listening to my dad. I don't care what you say. I'm not doing it.
But you think like maybe...
But like martial arts wise, like coach wise. And so like, I'll just say this, that even just learning how to adapt. I remember, so as a kid, 12, 13, somebody would come in, one of the black belt from another style or our style. And he would come in, he would be working with me. I always want to learn from new people. So we're learning. And I remember a guy named Denzel, a really great fighter. He told me something, and he said something to me. And he said exactly the phrase that my dad used. And it like hit me. My dad, even though I wasn't listening to him anymore, he was bringing in people and he was telling them exactly what to tell them. He was teaching me in different ways. You know, he's like, all right, he's not listening to me. I'm going to bring in this guy. All right, look, he needs to really work on the side kick. You know, go in there, make sure. And then I heard it through the guy, like the way the guy said it. And I understood then, like that he wanted the best for me. Like in that moment, like it didn't matter how it was coming about. And that's kind of how I want my girl. If it's gonna tear our relationship as father-daughter, somebody else is gonna coach her. I don't feel like it would. I feel like we would kind of bond through it. But I don't know, man.
So I mean, I got a good since you and the dad, since you and your dad. So your dad was good. Is just your question. Do you feel like right now, as you? I'm not saying like right now because your dad probably older, but and your dad the same age, and who you think was gonna win that fight?
Oh, we both know who will win that fight. Things are different.
Oh,
Things are different now. You know, like,
you feel like you're acquiring more skills.
Just the level of the game. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, people talk about Jordan and LeBron, like the level of athleticism. If they played straight up in the prime, you know, of course LeBron gonna probably win. He's the physical, but in terms of the goatness, the greatness that was at the time, I don't believe there's anybody better than Jordan. But things evolve, man. People are jumping higher, running fast, man. The standard, just like with that bar, has been set and set. Jordan set that bar so high. Well, then guys started, hey, that's the bar. I got to get there. I got to get higher. And so I would say that my dad at my age, or even at his prime, you know, just doesn't have the training need. Like, so now you can learn on. You don't even got. I can get to pull up the best martial artists in the world right now on my phone and learn something from them.
Back then, he didn't have that access.
He didn't have that. You know, hopefully what his sensei was teaching him was right. And to be honest, most of the time, a lot of times it wasn't. It was just bullshit or what their sensei taught. And now things are tried. Like, hey, look, all right. And so I got a guy who coming to the gym. He was trying to teach me some stuff from my art. I was like, all right. He was like, yeah, you need to do like this to take him down, go like this. I was like, all right, cool, do it on me. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't pull off. I'm like, yeah, look, I don't want, if you can't do it, you know, you're not telling me nothing. You know, like everything is now tried. You practiced. I know what works. Because when it didn't work, I got punched in the face.
Man, that is just crazy. But one last question about, because I feel like that level of skills you got, of course you got a lot of students and people that come and you train and you show them what you've learned. But let's just say, like you said, your third daughter, she's like a bit of a gangster. You could see her following your path. Do you feel like, because the relationship between dad and son, as you've experienced, and dad and daughter, is two different complete things. Do you feel like you take it a bit easy on her because she's your daughter, you'd want to push her past the limit? Or you feel like you just be like, hey, man, I'm pushing you till you break?
And so I would say that it's funny that you say that because it kind of opens up my eyes a little bit. So my girl Casey, who's my second, the princess, I treat her different. She's a princess. And so I would have thought, if you asked me that after my first two, I've been like, nah, I would for sure take it easier on my girl. I got to, you know, like said. But Kylie, the one I'm talking about, she's different. She's the only one. I tell them, if she going to my grandma or to her grandma's, my mom's house, hey, you can spank her. The rest of them, we ain't spanked the rest of them. We talk. But Kylie is different. You gotta let her know, or not, she gonna run right over you. You know what I mean? Like she's just, I mean, she's sweet, loving, but she's just. And so I look at it, and I would for sure. She would. I feel like it would be not right for me not to hold her accountable. If she wanted to do it, our relationship gonna be tested because I'm gonna push her to do it. Because I also know what it's like to get in there when you're not ready. And then we ain't doing that. She ain't getting in that cage or that competition when she's not ready. So I would say that, I think I would be able to hold her. If she wanted to do it, if she wanted to commit to do it, I would have to hold her accountable, and I would be the coach that I need to until it would harm.
Did you make them watch you
watch
fight?
you fight?
I don't like them ever to watch. So they did watch my last one, maybe my last one or two, my two older ones. My young ones. So I love it. I love girls. I love my girls because they don't care. They're like, whatever.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Dad's in this fight and watch. Oh, I'm bored. Let me go watch. You know, I don't care. But so I love that. You know, I think it reduces some pressure. If I had some sons, of like, Dad, you got to go win this fight. You know what I mean? Like that, I would feel that a little bit more. My girls, man, they are just so excited to see. They don't even know if I won or lost. When I get home, it's like a week away, week and a half sometimes. When I get home, they so excited to see me win, lose, draw, whatever. Man, and I love that. So I know that I'm coming home to that no matter what. I think that's a powerful thing in the ring, the cage, the pit, whatever you're fighting in. So I love my girls, and I love that relationship between us. So.
Yeah, that's nice. Because Poyer's daughter, I saw that she was crying after I lost.
Well, you can imagine. And that's the same thing. Like, so I thought about that too. But even that, at first I'm like, man, that's tough on her. But man, that's a good moment. Like that's to see. Bruce Lee got a quote: "It's better to set your goal high and fail than to set your goal low and to reach it." So it's good to show, to attack, to go be a world champion, to go try to do something great in front of your daughter, even if you fail. I think that's beautiful to do. To go say, hey, look, it's all right to go fail, but go after it. Don't sit by. Don't not fight because you think you might lose. Man, go fight. Go have that battle because there's life on it from both sides. So I think that is good, but I know it'd be hard. I don't know if I have my girls right there cage side.
Hey, man, just look.
So we like to do like a game show.
All right.
So I ask you the questions, and the first thing that comes to your mind, and you
Easy.
Is that easy?
I got a first question for you.
All right.
If you had to go fight somebody right now, like from all the great fighters, dead or alive, retired or not, who would you want it to be?
I'd fight Connor for the money. I got 4 girls, you know what I'm saying? I got to pay for weddings. I fight Connor for the money. And I know he would, like we talked about, I know he would talk trash. I'd be like, you're right.
Because you knew that's going to bring the best out of you.
Yeah, at the end of it, I'd be like, all right, I do not mind punching this dude in the face. Of course he's great. It'd be hard. It'd be tough. But that's I want that too. Also the level of skill he got. That's what I want. That's what the best in the world. That's what makes you better.
Okay, favorite restaurant in town? In town.
Oh, that's hard. I guess, man, the first thing that popped into my mind, it was, I'm going to go Paul's Rib Shack.
Okay.
Oh, I love Paul's. So if you have to live in one city for the rest of your life, where would it be?
I'm going to be here, I guess. I'm here. I love Lake Charles. My family is here. So I'm not from here originally. We all came here. And now we all here. So I'm here. We here. Bring on the Hurricanes. I don't care.
Hey, another question. I know you're a striker. What would be your favorite submission move? Don't say guillotine, please.
Man, so I don't even, so I don't even really have one. To be honest, I love so if we're saying submission, I want to get in a position where I'm punching them and they tap out.
So like ground and pound.
I
got you.
I'm going to stick true to form.
Hey, man, Josh, look, this was a pleasure. This was like one of the most exciting interviews I ever had, especially for me, because I'm such a big fan. And I'm watching somebody that's lived it, done it, or whatever. To where it's kind of like, because at first when I was watching UFC, of course not being from here, it felt like watching something on TV. It's kind of like whenever you're watching a movie, somebody do some certain move, okay, I'll never get a chance to see that shit live, unless you go to a UFC fight, of course. But having you right here, just talking about it, learning from your experience, it's been a pleasure, man, honestly.
I mean,
y'all want to see it live June 22nd, I believe, if that's Saturday, in 2 weeks. I got 7 fighting from my gym. It's here in town.
In the gym over there?
No, it's maybe at the Civic Center. No, it's at Burton Coliseum. But I got 7 that I'm coaching.
June 22nd?
June 22nd.
What time the fight will be?
Usually start at 7. Yeah.
Okay.
I got to set my mind out. For sure we'll be there. I promise you
I'll,
that.
I'll remind y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I got
Be at the gym, so
yeah.
I'll definitely be there. That's
one of
for
the
sure.
guys you worked out, the one you were talking about, like to work out with.
Yeah.
He'd be fighting. So
you got to check him out so you can see your sensei. You work.
Yeah, I mean, I just said it was really like, I ain't gonna lie to you, it was really a good experience. I just, like sometimes you meet some people and you feel the vibe. Like Josh I don't know how to explain it. He just got the aura, man. He just got.
Instead of thinking you heard the man's story, the man done learn a lot from his failure, the wins, and so on and so forth.
He's so nice guy, man.
When you see somebody who can fight adversities like that, it's kind of like, to even failure don't scare him no more. Like, I welcome the
I don't
failure.
think nothing scared Josh.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to go for it. So therefore, whenever you
Josh.
see that level of charisma, as people, we all face failures. And a lot of times, people face certain failures to it, like it breaks you. It don't make you. And then you see somebody talking about, man, I've faced many of them. They try to break me, but I push through anyway. Just by hearing that, you mean like, fuck it, I want to go for it. I want to know what this guy knows, what power he got to tap into to keep on going, maybe he can teach me so I can keep going also. That's how I look at it, me personally.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I mean,
That's
it was a good experience. I'm gonna keep coming back. I'm telling you, in 2 years,
Man, you're gonna be a ninja, bro.
yeah, I won't be
Who
a
you gonna
fucking.
fight, McGregor? After 2
Yeah, I'll
years?
fight anybody. Bro, I'm telling you, I'm going to Russia trying to find bears to fight, bro.
Man,
I'll be
hey.
going everywhere.
Hey,
I want to fight the bear.
Hey, once you start watching MMA, like tap in. If you want to gotta go back and watch certain old fights, do it. And then whenever you encounter this dude from Dagestan, it's like a freaking cheat code, bro. It's like
Man.
once they take you down, that's a wrap. Like whenever they take you down, they just
check out Karate Combat though. You know, this is a whole new little fighting scene. So they got the takedown, but they ain't gonna hold you down. You know.
But
So
I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out because like UFC, that's what got me really into it. So I stick by it, and even Bellator, I watch Bellator here and there. But for the most part, every UFC event I watch it, pay-per-view or not. But since you're a karate guy, you're telling me, I'd for sure check it out. That's
Because I mean, you got a great personality. You cool as fuck. You chill back. He's just like he's floating, literally. Like he's kind of like, and he's over there like, and the whole time I'm looking at it when he was teaching, is the way he move his body. It's just like his mind and his body just like, you know, when you drive in the car, you don't even pay attention.
Yeah, you're in
you just
control.
like you can be on your phone, and that's how I felt like he was, and this whole time he was just like, you know, like he's
Like
saying the
floating
thing.
in there.
He's just like when before even his mind tell his body's already responded to everything he said. I was like, man, this is just like, and he's pushing you, he's giving you that motivation that you need.
I feel like it's an art, martial arts. You know what I'm saying? It's my painting, my canvas.
Yeah, that's literally that's what I see. Like, you know, it's not just you can go over like, oh yeah, this is full of shit. Like he's not that dude. You know what I'm saying? But get over there when you sit down, like
You
know,
see
like,
that dude making something seem so impossible.
he's just
and
like
do
on
it
soccer.
with
He was
ease.
like Ronaldinho. That's how I feel like. He's over there like he's legit. Like it's like a Michael Jordan and this shit.
That might be a little far away.
I'm
No,
just
no,
saying
but
that
I think
to me, it's
just
just
to him.
I'm just saying, it's just like the way he's just like
It's like when you see somebody
effortlessly,
do
like, you know?
something that seems impossible to you, to where you're like, man, the hell, but yet the person make it seem like so easy.
Yeah, you
But
make it
gotta
seem
think,
so
keep in mind, we green as
flawless.
hell in the sport. Like you grew up through it. Like shit that would blow our mind. We seem like, what the hell, that ain't nothing to you. And I'm guessing for him, seeing you
he's just like
doing it with such ease. Like right now, that dude can train till the day he die. Would probably never reach it. He's like, he probably never reach your level. So therefore, seeing you doing it like that, I guess I understand.
Yeah,
where he's coming
I'm telling you, because I've been a big fan of karate. I never never got a chance to be in the, and I'm glad is like my first sensei is Josh, bro, because because he's really legit. Like I'm in like, man, if I follow this dude like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, boy, I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm telling you for sure right now. I'll whoop the fuck out your
That ain't
ass.
happening.
I swear to you,
Hey,
bro.
man, Josh,
I'll whoop anybody's ass.
I'm
But
telling
Josh,
you, man,
thank
it's
you
been a
so
pleasure,
much,
man.
man. It
Like,
was
for
like,
sure,
I
like,
think we
Y'all.
can
If
speak
you got
for
anything
hours.
else coming up in the future and you feel like, hey man, I got this or what I got going on, I want to sit with y'all and let the people know what I got going on or my people. got
Yeah. I
going
mean, I
on.
want you to come back because
well,
this
As
is
a matter of fact,
I enjoyed it,
that
man.
that fight you got coming up right now, let the people know
Yeah.
what kind of fight it is,
Cool.
so they can be.
June 22nd, I believe, if that's a Saturday. But it's at the Burton Coliseum. It's AKA fights. We got quite a few. Got the main event. So got one of my homies fighting for the belt. But all PE training center guys, Lake Charles, man. If you do love MMA, come see it live. Come support local, man. We got some really, really exciting strikers. You won't see a whole lot of grappling, not at least from our side. But so you come, it'll be exciting. And if you want to check out the gym too, please feel free. It's not like you think. It's not going to be something that's uncomfortable. Walk in, just get into the door. That's the hardest rep. And then from there, come meet some cool people.
And for the record, I want you to know I hate grapplers as much as you do because it make you feel like they cheating the game. But at the same time, when you see them do it, you just be like, well, "How do they do that?"
Yeah,
it blows your mind. But I hate them as much as you do because it's kind of like they ruin the fight. It's kind of like
They working for it. You don't do it easy. Ain't nothing taken easy. So.
But yeah, man, hey Josh,
and thank you so much, Josh, for coming. And thank you anybody that's watching. We got 30,000 subscribers. I mean, we couldn't do it without y'all. Thank you for supporting us. Man. And that's the reason we have people. I had the chance to meet people like Josh. It's just people supporting us, and we excited to bring more people in and listen to their stories. And I hope your stories, inspire people to just even want to do better, want to like, want to be a warrior, want to have that, go get it mentality. So, and that's the reason we do the show. And thank you so much, man, for coming to the show. I mean,
Yes, sir. Thank you for having
he's
me.
my sensei. And hey, woman, you watching, I'm going to whip your ass. I'm telling you right now, bro.
Well,